We'll sell your home for the most amount of money guaranteed. I can guarantee I can get the highest market value for their home. I can get it done in 7 to 14 days, and they're going to pay no buyer's agent commission, zero. Can we agree that if I could take and show you a quantifiable system of being able to give you the highest market value for the house, I can get it done just as quick as an iBuyer, and you don't pay a buyer's agent commission, so you net more money. Why does the seller pay a commission to a buyer's agent who is legally responsible to negotiate the best price and term for the buyer, yet the seller pays them? That would be like paying your spouse's divorce attorney to handle your divorce. It doesn't make sense that we do that, does it? What the seller understands is that's money directly deducted from the seller's proceeds at closing. So in a listing presentation, I present it that way. Hey, have you ever wondered why that happens? And they go, well, that's just the way it is. Well, I would go, well, would you be open to a better way to keep more of your equity? Who really dictates the value of a house? Is it the seller? Right? And this is a slide out of my son's listing presentation. Is it you, the seller? I mean, what you want to be able to move to where you want to go is completely irrelevant to the buyer. No different than when you go to buy a house in your new area, it's irrelevant to you. And it isn't me. It's not my comps showing you what else sold in the neighborhood. And it's not the appraiser. The appraiser's job is to secure the bank or keep the bank safe. The only one who dictates value is the buyer. And if you have any doubt, just look at the market right now. 10, 15, 20 offers, people bringing in $50, $100, $200,000 above appraisal value. It's the buyer who dictates the price. So why do you put yourself in a position to discuss it? Why don't we let the market tell us what they do or what they think it's worth? Because here's the thing, guys, can we agree if buyers have to compete, sellers would win every time, right? And if you doubt it, just look at the market we're in right now. It's complete chaos for a buyer and sellers are winning. Well, what if we could do that, good market or bad market? We call it the Home Boss selling system, where we sell it fast, highest price, zero buyer's commission. See, the Home Boss process, it's not the promise of a higher price by agents to secure a listing, but a process to provide the highest value the market will provide. Can we agree that the way most agents compete for a listing is they say, oh my gosh, that guy said he could sell it for $3. Oh no, I could get $350, no problem. And the minute they get a signature on the paper, they go, uh-oh, now what do I do? We're not doing that. We're going to let the market dictate the price, because in many, many, many cases, the market will pay more than what an agent does. Home Boss is simply an online auction platform that's designed to deliver the highest price in the shortest time with the least amount of hassles for sellers. We don't even put a lockbox on their house, folks. I'll walk you through the process in a minute. So here's the thing. I want you to think about selling a home like you're fishing. Yes, I know, fishing. Do you want the first buyer? Right? See, typically what agents do is they throw the thing in MLS, they throw a few bucks at Facebook and a couple other things, knowing full well that's not bringing the buyer. It's the MLS that's going to bring the buyer. And then the first buyer that comes along, we hook them, and then we start negotiating with the first buyer. What we do, is we take and throw a really wide net out, and then we let the seller pick the best buyer. Because I want you to think about real estate. Real estate is a negotiation-based system. What all real estate agents do is they negotiate the price down. They are in a negotiate down-based system. You put it on MLS, and then the buyer's agent and the buyer wants to negotiate the price down. When you have many buyers, they'll bid the price up. A traditional realtor, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is working on a negotiation down-based sales system. What we do is work on a negotiation up system, because we go out and find lots of buyers and we give them the ability to pay more money. Make sense? Home Boss is the only 100% transparent method for buyers and sellers to conduct a real estate transaction. I want to make this as easy as I can for you folks. How many of you sold a HUD home? Raise your hand, put it in the chat box for me. Give me a hell yeah. Raise your hand if you're in a live room. All right, perfect. Starting to see those. Cool, because guess what, guys? We do it exactly like HUD, except we're transparent. You know if there's another bid, right? So when you go into HUD, you go in and you don't even know if somebody else is making an offer. So chances are great, if your buyer really liked the house, you overpay. What we said is, how about if we take and we be open and transparent? We let them see what's going on and let them make the decision about what they're willing to pay. And then if we get buyers to compete, the seller's going to get more money. But it works exactly the same way, right? Let's say your HUD home is listed for $200,000. They say, Mr. or Mrs. Agent, how much do you want to make? Let's say you say 5%. Then they write the contract up at $210,000. Raise your hand. Those of you guys who have sold a HUD home, raise your hand and let me know that that's right. Because that's how it works. We do exactly the same thing, folks, except we're transparent. So don't make it harder than what it is. See, in the Home Boss system, the buyer pays the commission just like they do with a HUD VA or USDA home. It's the exact same process with 100% transparency. So don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. That's what it is. So here's what it looks like. This is a demo page that I set up. So the way that it works is somebody's going to submit an offer. In this scenario, it's $200,000. In this demo, what I did is I said the buyer is paying all commission. So 6% of $200,000 is $12,000. So the contract would be written at $212,000. If somebody comes along and bids $210,000, the compensation number will move, the contract price will move. They simply have the ability to take and submit a new offer. We have minimum bid increments of how they bid, and all the number changes. It's that simple. The contract is written at the total purchase price. Because the question is, guys, well, why do all these government entities use auctions to sell their home? And why do all the REO providers use like Hubzu and Auction.com and Zome? And then we got the wealthy that do elite and concierge auctions. Notice the only ones in there. Let's see, the governments and counties use auctions to sell their tax lien certificates. Folks, do you think this is by accident that they sell their tax liens this way and that the government sells their properties this way and the REO vendors do it that way? It's not. They do it because they get more money. So here's what the process looks like. We price the home 15% below market value to drive traffic. The seller has the right to accept, reject, or negotiate any and all offers. So they're not locked into doing anything. And I'll explain the strategy a little bit more about why we use 15 in a minute. Then we implement our marketing blitz for 10 days. We do a 2-day open house only. We do not put a lockbox on the house, right? Remember, we don't want hassle. All the sellers have to do is not be there on Saturday and Sunday for the open house. And then we have the online bidding ends. Well, why do we use online bidding? And the answer is because it utilizes the science of pricing. If you price your house 15% above market value, 10% of potential buyers will come and look at it. If you price it 10% above, 30% will. If you price it at market value, 60% will come and see it. 10% below, 75%, and 15% below, 90% of potential buyers will come and look at that pricing. Our job is to drive traffic to get buyers to compete so the seller wins. Make sense? Because think of it this way, folks. Same house, one starts out at 300, one starts out at 240. Which one's getting more buyers? Common sense, right? Remember, our number one goal of marketing is to get as many prospective buyers to come and tour the listings, to get a bunch of them to fall in love with it and start the process, right? Remember, when buyers compete, sellers win. That's how we drive traffic. And that 15% is a huge part of the marketing. Here's the thing, folks. What we do is we leverage that pricing to get hundreds of buyers into our open houses and get them pre-approved on the spot. What are the benefits of selling a house using this? Well, sellers, it's a simple marketing and showing process. Sellers just don't have to be there for 2 days. The buyer pays their own agent's compensation or could pay as much as all of it, right? So again, if somebody says, well, no, I'm paying a buyer's agent 2%, cool. I'll just do a 4% buyer premium. The offer deadline creates urgency. They get caught up in it, right? The typical time frame is 14 days. The seller gets to set the terms and days of your open house in showing so they can plan their life accordingly. The whole bidding process lets you receive the true market value of your home. If I get 200 people, 150 people into your home and nobody's willing to pay the price you are looking for, well, the market spoke. If I put 150 people in a home in 2 days and nobody wants to pay what you want, the market spoke. That's the true market value of your home. You have us to handle everything. Well, why do the buyers like it? Well, they have complete control over buying the house they want. No highest and best, no multiple blind offers. Don't we hate those guys? They're just terrible. Complete price transparency. You know exactly what you have to pay if you want the house. If you want the house, you can get it. You can see it in real time. You have the ability to preview the house before bidding, so there's no hidden surprises. And if they don't have an agent, we can even reduce the agent compensation. And then, folks, once we establish that price, it's just a normal contract and closing process. Now, I hear a lot, oh, no, my buyer would never do that. No, you just have to teach them the right way. All financing is accepted. So this one I'm going to move my microphone a little closer because I want you to hear. This is buyers and what they think.
Look at that, homeowner. We did it! Get stuff out of my garage today. Today, out of my garage.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, are you freaking kidding me? Ended. It says ended.
How you feel, man?
Booyah.
This is a listing that my son took. It was on Zillow for 8 days. It had 10,370 views, 487 saves. Now, same neighborhood, same floor plan, same month on the market, this house. It came on the market a week before my son's. It was on Zillow for 12 days. It had 2,029 views and 110 saves. Like 50% more time. This house sold at 310. Now, here's another thing that I want to point out. This is why I leave this slide in here. Folks, this is the same house, same neighborhood, same everything. Who in their right mind would make that the thumbnail photo of their listing? So we use this in our listing presentation to tell people, folks, hiring the right realtor makes a difference. This is real live stuff. Now, their result, they sold at 310 even. 310. Ours, we sold at 371, 530. The seller netted 350. The buyer's premium was 21,000. So the contract price was $371,530. We got $61,000 more for the same house, same neighborhood a week later, period. So here's what I want you to understand. It appraised for 350. We started the price at 255. We ended up at 371, 530 as a price. Now, were we lucky that the seller brought in 21,000 additional dollars? We are, but that's the nature of the market right now, right? We started at 255. We ended at 371. It appraised for 350, and we closed it, right? Here's another one, 54 offers. We started this at 450. The appraisal came in at 570. We don't even know how it got that high. Folks, the highest comp of any home in this neighborhood was 530. We sold it for $617,980, and it appraised at 570. And again, we were very lucky. This is a seller who wanted to be in this neighborhood and brought the additional money to cash. It is a function of the market, but even in a slower market, folks, we'll sell it for more money than everybody else. But the key is start that price low, right? This one literally closed last week. We started at 350. It sold at 427, 450. The buyer was putting $200,000 down, didn't even need an appraisal, right? This is a house, same house as before, just across the street. We started at 250. We ended up at 366, 548. And honestly, we didn't have a problem with the appraisal because we had the house across the street as a comp. Now, this one sold for a little bit less money because quite honestly, it wasn't in the same condition. But this seller was going to be happy if we got anywhere close to 300,000. They netted 345.8.